Hi, welcome back to Now TV Canada. I am your host. I am just on YouTube channel. Now TV, Jen, the producer, director, and writer of many wonderful things, CEO and president of Future Productions. So I thought today I would do something a little bit different and make a video where I'm trying to address everybody here all at once. So this video goes out to Mark Carney, the Governor General, King Charles, Donald Trump, Brendan Fraser, Warner Brothers, CW, E! News, Global, Toronto Star, Doug Ford. Basically nationwide, hoping that this time this video will make a difference. I will take this video and try to put the link in as many emails and up on as many Twitters, aka X, pages of people I can find to try and make this much easier for me. So where I'm going here is that I spent a decade dealing with Justin in the office, 2 terms. Ended up coming to Ottawa and living here in the process of trying to do this by foot in person. And I tried delegating ways of meeting with people through Parliament in person by going to the actual place where the mail is dropped off for the Parliament through another security location where there's like this box that slides out of the building. You dump in what it is you want, and then they pull it in, and then they look at it. They ask you a few questions through a window and the little speaker thing, and then they make note of it, and then they take it. And if it gets rejected, essentially you get contacted and you're told to go back to that same place where they push the drawer back out and you pick your stuff up and you take it back and then you go on your merry way. And so I don't want to keep going through that. I'm 51 years old. My work speaks for itself. I've been working my whole life as a writer, and my lifetime of work basically is worth owning this country. I have billions of dollars worth of movies to produce, to create jobs, and create businesses and put money back into our industries and our country, changing the expenses and the landscape of our land and what we want for a future. And I should have never been put through the situation where I was lugging around a bag on my shoulder with 2 17-inch laptops with all the extra tech by foot because my van wasn't being restored so I could drive around in it, that there was no restitution or justice done for the damage done to me from people that didn't know me, know anything about my life, my background, that I did nothing to in order to have that onslaught happen. So if we had good people and a good justice system in this country, none of this would have happened and everything would have been on time. And so I'm trying to reach Mark and Donald Trump in the White House, King Charles, and sort of explain to all of you guys that there's a background story you're all missing, a deeper explanation on how come things ended up where they are. And there's no one else that can give you those answers or explanations except me, because I was there. I'm the one living through it, and I'm the one doing the research on it. And so I'm the only person that can govern. Henceforth, my only desire to become at best a governor general and nothing else, because all I want to do is be able to reach the royal family and be connected to people that are intended to be friends of mine, personal people we can talk back and forth with each other in a trustworthy and respectful manner with. People that can take me back to my homeland, even just through phone calls and hearing voices. That helps me not miss it so much, where I'm not mourning the time I've spent growing up in this country because family came here hoping to build safer and better futures for their children, getting away from war. And the thing is, it doesn't end. You don't get away from it. It just changes its form, and it becomes some other version of the same kinds of nasty animosities, where they want the same outcomes because of, feelings of inadequacy, wanting to make people feel defeated, deflate them, stop them from having dreams, ambitions, goals. The amount of things I've had happen to me is so odd that somebody could do a movie about it. And I feel bad for the person who tries to, because it's not okay where it comes from and how it happens, and how to deal with something where it's not tangible. That becomes the cause behind how it happens. But there's always a basis to start from in the physical form. So there's always a story, a book, or some place to begin from where it all started, to make sense out of where we are and what's happening now. And that's the information I've had in the process of coming here and trying to reach Justin in the beginning. So when I came to see Justin Trudeau, I also came to the headquarters of the Postal Office for Canada, which happens to be a lot smaller a building and a lot smaller office staff than I had ever imagined for people trying to run the whole country. They don't know enough. There's not enough of them. The building isn't big enough to be running the whole country. They don't realize the size of this country, that our landmass in and of itself is the same size as America, and that our people are pretty spread out. You can't make decisions from a small building with just a few people for that great of a space, and people living such diversified and differing lives so far apart from where they are in their offices. They don't have the life exposure. They haven't got the credibility, the experience. A paper resume denoting education and previous jobs in places that they've held positions in briefly does not cover it. And I came in person and I dropped off a copy of the movie script, Another Story with Joe Fox and Kathleen Kelly. It is, by all accounts, in other words, just the second part of the Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie, originally known as You've Got Mail. So, Mark, if you're still listening, at 8 minutes in, Donald Trump, if you're still listening, Brendan Fraser, if you're still listening, the Governor General, Prince William, Kate, Charles, if you're all still listening, You've Got Mail was a pretty big movie. It was quite successful. And this movie would have solved our problem with the post office. What to do about mailboxes, the metal ones, where you got to go and get your mail, versus door-to-door mail. The story in here kind of gives an explanation for the difference and how important it is to keep some things the same when you need to leave well enough alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If something's working, leave it alone. If people like it, let them like it. Give more of what they like. Don't take it away and turn the light out on the whole thing. We don't want the carrying meter needle to go down. We want things to get brighter. We want to give hope to a new generation and future. So I dropped off an entire copy of this at the post office headquarters on Bank Avenue in Ottawa. And I was told that it would go to the right person and then somebody would get back to me. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. I think I ended up moving over here to Gatineau in the process of my waiting. COVID kicked in, whatever. The point is, no one ever contacted me. I had to take myself back to that office. And of course, there was a different person at that main area, or we had just both not been able to recognize or remember if that had been the same interaction together that we had had originally. But they don't remember the movie script. Had no idea what I was talking about, no idea where it was. So I ended up leaving knowing that a copy of this movie was somewhere floating around inside of the Canadian Postal Office. Now, if people read, they should have been reading this and getting excited, and it should have been moving around from person to person, going, oh, this movie is really good. This story is excellent. The writer's fantastic. Did you read this? Here, listen to this part. And then they're reading stuff about Canada and our door-to-door mail service and our postal workers to each other, and gaining some hope and joy and laughter and smiling, and till it spreads like wildfire, where everybody's wondering who's going to get to play those postal workers, who's going to get to have these parts. Well, how do we go and audition for it? Where's the casting calls going to be held? And now you, Mark Carney, are in office. Well, none of that stuff I just said ever took place. To show you how much the light is dimming in our world and in our society, how much this is all becoming about a bottom dollar. The Postal Service is not a business that other people can operate for their own financial well-being, to line their pockets with, to plan their retirements, stepping on the backs and the heads of people who have less than they do. The Postal Service is an essential service, and it's given to us and governed to us under the Commonwealth, to which we owe our country, our freedom. The money doesn't have our faces on it. And it's not American money. We don't have European coins. Right? So our debts and our expenses and our way of life needs to be addressed toward the United Kingdom as a thank you for what it is they incur, what they take financially and pay for, so that we have the benefit of the lives we're living. To destroy our door-to-door mail system and try to make up like, it's too expensive, we're losing more than we're earning, as a way for the rich people being paid in that building I was in to continue to pay themselves as a last generation of people for their retirement as much money as they can get just for themselves. Well, it's just wrong. And then shut it down, and then nobody after that can have what they just had. If you're not balancing your books right with the Postal Service, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing wrong. You need to sit down and make a list. You need to look at the books, where your money's going, what the bills are, what can be fixed, changed, where you can make things cost efficient, and what kinds of things you can do to create resources that will help pay for and attribute to the well-being of an essential service like door-to-door mail. And all of that came from this movie. All I had wanted, all I was trying to suggest during these strikes, which I went from one side of the country to the other during the process of these ongoing things. And I have tried reaching people with this movie on both sides. I was trying to tell them to advertise You've Got Mail Too, another story with Joe Fox and Kathleen Kelly, on some of the mail trucks, buildings, bus stops, bus shacks, places where they're going to advertise how great their services are, whatever, anyway. And let people know about it. Find people that are willing to financially back the movie, partners, producers, do biddings, who's going to make it, be most excited about it, and finding the right lead performers, because Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks will now be aged out. So we have the opportunity to present new, younger actors the opportunity to prove themselves. There should have been nothing but a buzz of excitement all over this country over this one movie, just this movie. Now, this one I can take with me on a bus or an airplane, and it's not going to break my arm or my leg or bother my spinal condition or cause me pain in any of my injured spots on my body. But to date, nobody's read it. There's no buzz. Now, you're in office, Mark, flying all over the place, shaking hands with people in all the wrong places, and it's getting us nowhere. And I have all the answers that go all the way back to the days of Moses, when God gave instructions to Moses on how things go when it comes to picking leaders, how you operate, who's in charge. And that from the time they refused to follow those rules, what's happened to get us to the mess we're in now. And avoiding my movie work and who I am and talking about me because of the rule, unsolicited materials not accepted, is not going to solve the problems for anybody. There is no one else who has written what I've written. There is no one else that can write what I write. There's no one else that's ever written anything that could compare to anything that's been waiting to be produced for years. This was finished when I was 38. Back in 2013. I think that Rob Ford was still alive. And of the two brothers, he's a much better man. What God gave him permission to experience and be exposed to at the end of his life was a far bigger blessing than the sheltered life of rich boys in the world they had known growing up could have ever given him if he had been left in that situation. People who have had money all of their lives have had firsthand treatment to everything given to them. They fear poverty. They fear having nothing. They fear running out of stuff. The best way to learn how to stand on your feet, be independent and self-reliant, is to literally deny yourself. Don't allow yourself all these luxuries. Learn how to live on less. Remove it from your life. Practice the habit of smaller things and learn to appreciate and understand the value of what that builds inside of you for character. But inside the character of the people today that are trying to lead or be in positions of significance in our country, the souls are soured. I went and saw somebody who was holding up a picture of the Superwoman t-shirt, willing to do a public stint like that at a Bloor Street event, but would go no further in helping me when dealing with emotional covert and family traumas, rectifying custody issues, cleanliness standards at home, just problems that need to be dealt with in our nation that are happening everywhere. And I don't mean our country. I'm talking the whole continent, like the nation. Right? And if one person ignores it, then it snowballs, right? People just follow suit. And they're always like, oh, somebody else can deal with it. But nobody does, because everybody just follows what the other person did about trying to make out like somebody else can deal with it. So what I'm saying is, before we even deal with the other movies, let's just go to the one that was done first and get it done. I need this to be read. I need this to reach Charles. I need this to reach Meg Ryan. I need producers in, whether here in America, Canadian producers. I need people to come out of the woodworks with our door-to-door mail and put something back into our system, put some love back into our system that will make a difference and reduce the panic. I have all kinds of answers that goes with it in having to fix our economy and reducing expenses, rolling back on prices and time. We need to get to work to do that. And the only way that's going to happen is if we do it together. So I'm going to send this video in an email and hope that it reaches some of the people I address it to tell you all to get in touch with me via the links I have below in the description. And in closing, I'm telling everybody who's interested in the industry, voiceover work, music, choreography, dancing, people who are good at making posters, book covers, proofreading, editing, people who want to do some acting, people with little experience, people who've been to acting school and just want to get a start. I just tell you, if you're here and you're watching and you're listening and you have a dream and you want to attain that, support Future Productions and I'll support you. Future Productions is the only place where you could submit your profile, your headshots, your resume, your sound bites, your writing work. It's the only place where there's no rule. Both are accepted, solicited and unsolicited material. I want to bring an end to a mess that has caused this problem in our industry and my life. Its entire career, because I haven't been paid to write these mammoth scripts, mammoth movies. Nobody will talk about it, acknowledge me, acknowledge my work. Donald Trump is in the White House as the president of the United States because of this binder, because of this trilogy. And the movie that's inside there that goes with this trilogy, that has 2 more parts to it. And then there's another part about Superwoman. So in the end, there are 6 scripts to this mammoth story that Donald Trump was part of 10 years ago when Justin Trudeau got into office. And the only way we can fix this with Donald is if Donald receives this message, if he reaches me, reaches these manuscripts, gets a chance to read this stuff, gets to hear the secrets and ideas and the business solutions in my head that he wanted when he was putting his name on buildings everywhere, but wouldn't buy or own the buildings because he was missing information and couldn't put his finger on what it is. It is possible for a woman to be smarter than a man. Many men. It's possible for women to have the answers for many things, positions of leadership, providing solutions. We are, after all, the caregivers. Without us, the caring meter drops, and we have a soulless society. We have a directionless world, blind leading the blind. A woman's love in the home, in the workforce, in schools. It's the pulse of everything. And in my case, it's a big pulse because I carried a lot of love for a lot of people. My career and its passion and dreams goes all the way back to the devastating loss of John Belushi, and River Phoenix. I was meant to be a child star. So I'm just trying to provide opportunities to fix our country and fix life for people coming in to this industry, growing up after me, to avoid them having to suffer through the same things I've lived through, that I'm living through now. So let's not waste any more time. And let's get together getting this right. Watch my videos. Take this one and get as many people to watch it as possible. Get it to all the news stations. Tell all of your friends. Tell anybody that knows somebody that's part of parliament. Let's fix this. There's work out there. There's money. There's answers. There's entertainment. There's joy. Let's stop spending needlessly traveling around the world, shaking hands and meeting with people in countries and positions that have nothing to do with the solutions that are right here in our own backyard that will fix the list of problems that we need to get done. So I'm done for this video, but I cannot carry the weight of these binders. Books that big on a bus to go back to the same place that has the little drawer in it with the security people that these wouldn't fit into anyway, to get into the building, to get it presented to Mark Carney, only to have somebody tell me a little bit later to come back and pick it up because somebody in the Parliament office decides, oh, well, no, we're not going to disturb Mark. We're not going to tell him about it. We're not going to let him know. No, you don't get to have a meeting with him. And then I have to go through that process all over again after losing 10 years and multiple efforts already. I have a ton of emails I can show a record of. You can make a movie just out of that, a documentary of those 10 years. What we want to do is just go with fixing the first one and get me to meet with Charles and Donald so I can fix the rest of what's going on with them, with other things. You have to invite me in. I have to be allowed to go there. I have to be expected. They have to have that whole red carpet laid out for me to make the effort. I'm still nursing an injury of my arm. It's pretty bad. I go in and out of a lot of pain. I can't twist or do too much. So the only thing I'm doing today as I close this video is to the gym. I'm going to the pool. I'm going to sit in a hot tub. I'm going to soak up in hot water and bubbles because I have already done the work. I've been a masterclass writer for decades. I should be the richest woman in this industry in Canada and the biggest writer in this industry this country has ever seen. And as a woman, everybody should be applauding and praising and celebrating because you can trust me. Because it means that I'm going to take care of everyone that matters. But for that to happen, you have to help me help you. And I have to have the money and the publicity and the attention and the meetings necessary that I am worthy of with the right people to fix everything that's gone wrong because of the way our society has told itself it's supposed to behave and practice things in an industry that made these rules 7 decades, 8 decades ago, in a time in the world we no longer live in and no longer need to live like. So we need to work together to fix those rules and those standards and bring an end to it so we can bring an end to the suffering, misunderstanding, and loss that creates that division so we don't have that division anymore. There's a reason why New York was born and branched off of Hollywood, California. And if anybody knows anything about the Brill Building in New York and its history, then you would have some understanding of how that worked to create that difference in this industry and problems we've always had. So let's not have that anymore. Always have problems. So Mark, the White House, Donald, Brendan, don't make a mummy 4 without me. You need what I have, what I know. I'm going to make some more smaller videos, but I have to go sit in hot water. I hope this video reaches enough people that I can get people to contact me. So I have either a limo coming to pick me up with all of these binders of manuscripts or invitation to go somewhere that would make it worthy for me to lug all of this and hope that we can finally find a way to get solutions made that everybody can be happy with so we can move forward in having a wonderful 2026 era. What did God call it in the Bible? 50 years, the Jubilee. So we can have a wonderful Jubilee where God can bless us and give his mercy and kindness to many who are needing it. And needing his love. Okay, so peace out, everybody. Thanks for watching to this point. I will be back with more videos, snippets of stuff. Have a good day. Get out there and enjoy this weather if you can. For winter in this area of the country, it's a good time to be out in it. It's not too bad. Okay, so peace out from Now TV Canada, here in my safe house on this side of the country, away from the busy life and pollution and noise of everything that goes on in Vancouver. Bye.